We are really excited to be sharing some of the industry insights in relation to solar installations. We're going to unpack a couple of topics that are very topical in the market today, and hope you enjoy today's session. In this session, we would like to equip you, property practitioners, to have sufficient information so that when you talk to your potential buyers and your customers, you have sufficient information to help them navigate the space of solar solutions. Homeowners are finding it very difficult to make a decision when it comes to solar installation. There is a lot of information out there, social media, newspaper articles, news articles, a lot of content. And a lot of people who claim to know what is happening from a solar installation perspective, who claim to be experienced from a solar installation perspective, a lot of products that are being positioned, a lot of jargon that is being positioned. And homeowners are really left in a situation where they don't know who to trust. What we've seen in the market is there's starting to become a lot more information that is available for consumers to access. Certain banks' websites have also started putting content together in order to enable their customers make the right decision. We've seen from an industry perspective partnerships being formed to ensure that customers are protected, at least from an installation perspective, where certain industry partners are looking at partnering with installers who are accredited to ensure that the quality of the product is sufficient from a safety perspective as well. So it is important that consumers take on the journey of doing research, find content from accredited and trustworthy partners in order to make the right decisions where installations are concerned. There are a lot of options out there that consumers and householders can take into account when they're looking for solutions from a load shedding perspective. Now, what one needs to take into account is, where am I as an individual? Let's say, for argument's sake, you are renting. You would most likely not want to take up a solution that is quite pricey, because from an investment perspective, you wouldn't want to be spending a lot of money in a property that you're not necessarily owning. Therefore, what we've seen in the market is people who are renting their properties are looking for much more easier products that they can quickly plug on, and they can remove it if they leave the property. As an example, we are finding that customers are looking at UPSs, battery backup solutions that are available from different retailers and from different partners that we've seen across the industry. Those are not that expensive, and you can pay for those perhaps using a personal loan as an example, or pay cash towards it. Now, if you are a homeowner, you would most likely start thinking of a much bigger investment. So there are a couple of options that are available, and we'll talk about which one is most popular that we're seeing in the industry currently. There is what we call a grid-tied solution. So a grid-tied solution is your solar panels that are on top of your roof, as well as an inverter that enables the household to use electricity during the day when there's enough sunlight. As the solar panels generate electricity, the household can consume the electricity during the day. However, this solution doesn't have a battery, meaning that in the evening, when there's no sun and there's load shedding, the house is load shedded like every other house that doesn't have a solar solution. Which then brings me into what is the most popular product that we're seeing in the market. So in the market, what we're seeing now is the hybrid solution. So a hybrid solution is your solar panels on your roof. You've got an inverter, which is connected to your system that converts your direct current into alternative current that can be used in terms of your household from an appliance perspective. And then lastly, there's a battery that is connected to this installation. What happens then is that during the day, when the power is energy is generated from your solar panels, that excess energy that the household is not using during the day is stored in your batteries. Therefore, in the evening, when there's load shedding, the house keeps the lights on, right? You are able to continue as if there's no load shedding. That's the most popular solution. It's because we find ourselves here as the South African, as South Africans, that we have to use a hybrid solution. A lot of consumers and households are starting to talk about going off-grid. Now, off-grid means that you do not have any access to Eskom's electricity, as an example. Now, it means that you generate your own electricity. You're not bothered whether there's load shedding or not. However, the limitation of off-grid is that you have to start thinking about what other alternative sources of energy do you want to plug onto your system. As an example, you may have to start thinking about either a solar geyser or a gas geyser. You may have to start thinking about a gas stove, as an example, because you have no reliance whatsoever on the grid. A lot of customers also have to take into account that if there's no sun, as an example, for an entire week, there's rain, and we're not generating enough sun for your solar system to generate energy and store it in the various batteries, you have to think about what is the alternative power that you're going to think about, which could be a generator, as an example. It's not the most popular. I think as South Africans, we are more inclined towards your hybrid solution, because it does give us that flexibility that if there's no sun, I can still consume energy from the grid.